Welcome everyone, then this is going to be the 4th week already. Let's update this. We have darvoi's carrot, and then we have Professor and his Muppet. So yeah, welcome everyone to the first game of the set. What do we get over here? We're gonna see for darvoi's carrot on the left hand side, Kimbu playing with Spanish, Steak playing with Saracens. On the right hand side, we have Dziamdziak playing with Magyars. Jack's gonna be playing with Saracens himself as well, so Saracens for both teams, which means both will get first off cheaper markets at trade resources for cheaper. We're gonna get for Saracens also 10 extra HP on camel units, as well as for the team bonus 2 bonus damage from food archer units against buildings. Meanwhile, his teammate for Steak, Kimbu over here playing with Spanish, will get 30% faster working builders, as well as no gold cost on blacksmith upgrades whatsoever. 18% faster attacking gunpowder units will also affect Spanish, and then finally we'll have for that civilization for the team bonus 25% stronger trade. On the right hand side, we already talked about Saracens, which Jack's gonna be using. Meanwhile, Dziamdziak instead, he will be playing with Magyars, which means a 15% discount on Scoutland units, as well as free 14 iron cast in the blast furnace. But then on top of that, we also have for Saracens, for Magyars, villages who can kill wolves with 1 strike or predators with 1 strike, although I'm not really sure we have any predators on this map. I think we might not. And for the team bonus, we'll see also for Magyars 2 extra line of sight on food archer units, which is going to come in quite handy, of course, especially to his ally. Going for archers going forward, he's going to spot vulnerable villagers from farther away, he's going to spot TCs from farther away, towers, whatever. So it's pretty handy, and it's a very interesting civilization combination over here. Well, we'll see. Well, probably a fast castle attempt from Kimbu into Conquistadors. Meanwhile, Steak's gonna try to put pressure from the fuel edge, I would imagine, since it's not gonna have to worry too much about even palisade walls, right? Let me take a look at this. I think, is this open? I think it's open over there, but the way that the wood generated over here, where both woods are kind of connected, it's going to make it a little bit easier for him to potentially get the walls going, something like this, right? But we'll see. Up north, on the other hand, yeah, still potentially pretty straightforward to get the walls up as well. So this should allow Kimbu, for instance, to go for something such as a fast castle. Imagine if I hadn't bottled my set, I have been south until 2030. Both teams have been lost for colors. Yeah, colors are actually a little bit disaster right now. So I guess we're going to be switching Jack's color to something else so it's not... I guess this is good, right? Green and gray, so we don't have a hot color and a cool color here. Let's check. And we are getting to almost enough villages for the players to already go up to the fuel edge. And Kimbu is actually going to click up himself. And he did not go for the walls at all, so it doesn't seem like he'll try to fast castle over here whatsoever. Going up on 20 population means we'll likely just see scouts. Meanwhile, Steak sending some militias forward. By the way, did I enable predictions? I didn't. Let's enable predictions for game number 1. Option 1, darvois, and option 2, Professor. 5 minutes, there you go. I'm pretty sure 5 minutes from now, we're still going to have a pretty even game, so it doesn't matter too much if it's a little bit of a later starting time for the prediction contest. Kind of looks like enclosed now. I guess we do have wood at the center and the players are around the center, but they are not enclosed within the wood, so it doesn't have that element, which I think is very important for enclosed. As a matter of fact, I'm not really sure if this map actually looks like much of anything. I don't think we saw a layout like this before, did we? Or at the very least, not that I can remember right now. This pressure. Village will be on the way very soon for Steak. He's going up on 23 villagers, so a strong economy potentially to go straight into double archery ranges. Meanwhile, Jack's going up himself. He's got a barracks on the way so that he can start adding archery ranges later, of course. He's already made the switch to gold. And Kimbu's getting to the village, going for a stable right away. No fast castle over here from the Spanish player, just full aggression in the village. The baguettes played already? Yes, the baguettes already played, so you can find that earlier in the stream. He played versus... Oh, it's open though! It's open! They're coming up! We could see a villager go down over there. I think we'll see the first blood over there. That's gotta be first blood. One villager going down. Beautiful. The scout does scramble over here, but we see the scout also go down for Dziamdziak. The quick balls come up, but he's already taken a little bit of a loss, so it's not too bad for Steak over here whatsoever. I mean, the fuel age, he's going up on 24 villagers actually, so he ended up going for one more. And yeah, we'll see what we get for him. For the time being, Kimbu up north was trying to put some pressure, ended up taking some damage from the spearman, so he's roaming around. But I'm not sure if he'll be able to get too much damage on over here. As long as Jack's paying attention, should be able to go for extra defensive spearman and prevent any damage coming out from these scouts. There we go. Yeah. Beautiful. Archery range is coming up now for Steak. Let's take a look at resources. He does have a good amount of food. He does have some wood. I think it... Oh, that's a good snipe though from Dziamdziak. It's open in between the wood lines. Yes, we saw earlier as well, but if it were because of this push from Dziamdziak over here getting a villager down and everything, and we're gonna see another village go down over there. Overall, the KD is gonna be a little bit better for Professor And His Muppet, I think. After that village goes down, it's gonna be 2-1 in their favor. Beautiful. They were able to catch up. Now with 4 scouts left, he can keep on putting more pressure up. But yeah, if it weren't because of this scout push, it wouldn't take too much for Steak to even try to go up to the castle age himself. If he had the walls up already, he's playing with Saracens. He still has all his stone available, right, that he could potentially have sold. And he had a good amount of food workers plus a little bit of extra wood over there. I'm pretty sure it would have been able to go up. Probably would have needed to go for one blacksmith, right? But yeah, now that's not possible. With Jack's push over here, Professor And His Muppet, they are looking good. We might see a village go down over here from Steak. And yes, sir, that's gonna be another one. We have the hill advantage for Dziamdziak's units. Although we do have some villagers for Steak over there to, to support these scouts. But it's not going to be even necessary at all. As all the scouts are going down now from Kimbu. We'll see Steak lose yet another villager. Probably. There's only one spearman over here. And we do see another spearman coming over, but it's not going to be here on time now, will it? Probably not. That villager's going down. Steak does take the villager forward. And yeah, a lot of damage over here from Dziamdziak. Meanwhile, up north, we have an archer push coming over from Jack as well. Yeah. And Magus, of course, will exacerbate damage potential from Dziamdziak for sure. Here we are. Beautiful. There we go. Bu ends up losing a villager over there as well. So all this pressure coming up from Professor and his Muppet has certainly made it very difficult for darvois to keep up. They've already fallen behind by about 3 workers. This is a lot of pressure coming up. While King Boo is bringing a few scouts over here, these archers plus spearmen coming over from Jack as well will make it very difficult for King Boo to provide enough defenses to these villagers, which means that he might end up losing a few more over here. You know, with these archers, the quick walls will not really matter too much. So yeah, there we go. They end up pushing all the defensive units from darvois out the way, and now they have all these archers with fletching already to try and get the villagers. Very good unit control, very good teamwork as well from Professor and his Muppet. Notice how they ignore the spearmen, go right up against the archers so they can keep their own archers up, and they were also keeping their own archers at bay too. So now they can try and get more villagers down. They cannot do it though, with extra scouts coming over from King Boo, should be able to defend. But yeah, there is another wave of archers around from Jack 2. Beautiful. Plus the spearman over here should be able to get more damage done. Well, man, this is going to hurt. There is no other way to put this. We should see villagers going down, and they will. Though we do see some extra scouts coming over from King Boo. Dziamdziak's got the extra scouts over here to work with himself as well. And not a single archer has gone down over here from Jack from the second group. So that's going to be GG. Wow, that's a pretty quick first game of the series. It's going to be less than 20 minutes. But Professor and his Muppet performed really well over here. They do end up taking game number 1. Let's go and take a look at the achievements real quick. What do we get? We're going to see for military, 3-to-1 kill ratio for Dziamdziak+JacK. Instead, we'll get a better than 4-to-3 kill ratio. Meanwhile, for economy, we'll see a stronger economy for Professor and his Muppet as well, with collecting significantly more than 50% of resources at the end, about 54 or so. And then for society, we're going to see a higher worker count since fairly early, since about early fuel age, right? As soon as they started getting some villages down from darvois Scout, it was significantly harder for the left-hand side team to keep up. So sorry, Darvoi. What is the story about? What is the story about the name of this team? darvois Scout. I'm pretty curious. Let's go and... There we go. Who wins game number 2? 5 minutes. There you are. And once again, for game number 2, we have darvois Scout up north. We're gonna have Dziamdziak and Jack down south, playing as Professor and his Muppet. And then what do we get for these guys? Well, for King Boo, once again for Khmer, we are going to get 10% faster working or faster moving battle elephant line units. We also have for Khmer, of course, nobility requirements. Farmers who do not need mills or TCs to drop food on. And then on top of that, we also see for Khmer for the team bonus, they're going to have 1 extra range on scorpion line weapons, which is always pretty interesting to see. Meanwhile, moving over to his teammate, we're gonna see that Steak's playing with Ethiopians. Ethiopians we're gonna see for both teams on this game, and both players, of course, will be benefited by the same upgrade, by the same bonuses, sorry, which is 18% faster attacking archer units. We're gonna get also 100 extra food and 100 extra gold upon reaching a new age, as well as for Ethiopians, we're gonna get the pikeman upgrade for free, while for the team bonus they provide 3 extra line of sight and outposts and towers. So yeah, those things, by the way, those learning goals are not even taking into account some of my creative goals that I have not organized yet, which are for like singing and guitar. And singing I have not done for a very long time. It's simply not possible when casting so much because my voice is in no good shape to practice after the streams. And yeah, still need to you know, to get back on guitar. But yeah, and those things are not taking into account all the work stuff that is related to the stream, all the different things that I want to integrate to increase production value into the stream as well, which also take a lot of time. So that's just in case you were wondering what I do when I'm not streaming. But yeah, single stream. Yeah, that will have to be at the very least 2 days after my last casting, so my voice has some time to rest, and that'll have to be like a couple of years down the line, because at this progress, at this progress rate, it's going to take a long time before I get decent. It's just not possible to practice when you're casting for, like, honestly, any higher than 4 hours is already too taxing on your voice to practice singing afterwards. So I guess that's going to be still on hold until I am done with Terranova, and depending on how many tournaments we have later this year, might not actually be able to practice singing at all. We'll see. But yeah, you guys know it's very hard to pursue like personal interest and work at the same time, right? GSR4 throws in the occasional guitar stream, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, that sounds good. I would have to add into my schedule time to learn songs to actually have a repertoire. But if you had a co-caster, that would help a little bit, yes. But it would only be possible for some streams, not all of them. I do want to bring some co-casters for the playoff of Terranova, and maybe even for the 5th round as well. Yeah, and maybe for later in the future as well. Yeah, that could be good. I thought about that, Arbase, by the way. Music streams at some point. It's something that I have in my very long to-do list, and it's going to take a long time to get to, but it could be fun. Village is coming out now for everyone. We have talked about all the civilizations except for Huns. So on the right hand side for Dziamdziak, we're going to see for the great player 10 and 20% cheaper cavalry archers in the Castle and Imperial Ages, as well as 50% accuracy on trebuchet as opposed to 15%. 100 less wood before, as soon as the game begins, but they do not need to build houses at all. For the team bonus, they also have 20% faster working stables. So yeah. I think that may be difficult with the playoffs being during the Resurgence and Battle Africa. That would be nice. I'm really sure if it's going to be too difficult, because for the round of 12, that's going to be 4 sets, and for the round of 8, that's going to be 4 sets as well. Those are going to take place during the weeks, usually during the weekdays as opposed to during the weekend, right? So Resurgence is taking place during the weekends most of the time, and for Battle Africa, I'm not really sure. Let's check. See a stable come up already for Dziamdziak. Hey JBR, how are you doing? Beautiful. Quick walls coming up for Jack on the left hand side. He did not get the TC very close to a pile of lumber at all. There is some distance over here. It's going to be very hard to protect these villagers, of course. Well, on the right hand side. Yeah, it's going to be a similar situation as well for Dziamdziak. Interestingly enough. Meanwhile, up north. Yeah, this seems a little bit better for Steak. He's got the piles of lumber over here right next to the TC, which is great. So, here come the scouts. We're gonna see one villager going down already from Jack. I'm well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking, JBR. Hope everything's going well for you as well. Getting closer and closer to the conclusion of Terranova duos, of course. Still a lot of content to cover for the group stage. And yeah, a bunch of teams have been scheduling a bunch of matches as well, and it's going to be a pretty packed final 2 weeks. Beautiful. Defensive wall coming out for Dziamdziak, and that's going to make it a little harder for Steak to keep on putting pressure. Now, he can still do it, but on the left-hand side. And just will be able to push some villagers away from berries. Probably from the farm over there, but can he get a villager kill actually? He's struggling. He does get it though. Nice. Let's check. Left hand side. Yeah, a little bit of pressure coming out from Jack as well. So we do have a counter push over here. Archers for both teams on the other team side. That's a good amount of scouts that we have over here from Dziamdziak. He might actually be able to get 1 or 2 villagers down here. We'll see. Although it seems like there's a little bit of a pause. Okay, let me take a look at the chat to see what's going on. Oh, yeah, they're gonna keep on going. No problem. Well, they should keep on going. I think it's bugged out over here. I see that the game is actually... Yeah. I think the game is actually getting data, but it's not possible for me to unpause this. I think I'm gonna have to rejoin, and fingers crossed it's not going to bug out again. Yes, from this point onwards we are going to go only 2x, and
yes.
Yeah, there we go. Huge lag they say, and well, these archers are already getting cleaned up by Kimbu. So very good defense over here so far. Doesn't that taking all the archers down? Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, Steak still has his own archers to work with. So darvoi's Carrot getting a little bit of a lead right now. Beautiful. Roaming around. Can they get any extra damage done? It's going to be hard, but we do have the scouts over here for Kimbu as well. Dziamdziak's defending with scouts, but he's got no archers to work with. And Jack, specifically, he does have a good amount of archers, but these are all going to be forward, trying to put pressure against Kimbu once again. He does get a villager down, though. Kimbu Civilization is fantastic for a map like this because of the ability to gather some village inside houses, but you have to be paying attention actively to your economy so you don't take any losses. In any case, those archers from Jack are putting a lot of pressure against Kimbu. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, the archers from Steak plus the scouts. Now that Kimbu's bringing back to defend himself against these archers. We'll still be putting a lot of pressure against Dziamdziak, especially Steak's archers. On their own, they're looking so good. The engagement coming up right now. A lot of extra archers for Steak for sure, but he missed shots over there. He's gotta be careful. If he can take the scouts down, should be able to come out on top over here for sure. He's gonna have the hill advantage now as well. Beautiful, but yeah, unit control over there was not the best. Struggled a little bit, ended up taking a few too many losses. Now it seems like this engagement should be going in favor of darvoi's Carrot for sure. Even if Steak's left to his own devices, should be able to clean this up anyway. And there we go, the archers are going down right now from Jack. Dziamdziak's bringing the units, or he's going to provide some defenses with the TC over here. All the units get close to Dziamdziak's TC, and let's go a little bit faster once again. Beautiful. This is looking really, really good for darvoi's Carrot. Now, Professor and his map, they have the first player to go up to the castle. Jack's already clicked up. Meanwhile, we are waiting for Steak and for Dziamdziak to click up themselves. They are getting very close. This is a very, very good push, though, with the archers just sitting underneath the tower now. Denying so much economy over here. That's going to be 6 farms. Already denied. And that's a lot of scouts from Kimbu still, so they are looking good. For military count, they're significantly ahead. Now, Steak's even going after the Castle H himself. So this is looking very favorable for darvoi's Carrot. We are close to 24 minutes into the game. And, you know, it's not going to take too long for Steak to be able to upgrade his archers to crossbows, which will make it significantly harder for Professor and his Muppet to keep on defending. However, with Jack getting to the Castle H himself very soon, he'll be able to go for his own crossbows. And if you take a look at military count, right now we have more crossbows, or more archers, for Jack than we have for Kimbu. For Steak. So maybe Professor and his Muppet will be able to defend over here, we'll see. So far, darvoi's Carrot managed to get a 12 villager lead over Professor and his Muppet. Good engagement over here though, coming up. Should be going in favor of Jack for sure after we get all the upgrades, of course. With all these scouts coming over from Dziamdziak, they do end up pushing these archers away. And now with the crossman upgrade, Steak doesn't really stand a chance over here anymore. The engagements over there were not the best. Kimbu specifically ended up taking so many losses over here, and he didn't need to take the engagement. He could have just bailed. Now, all the archers have gone down for Steak. Scouts coming over as well. Taking on these archers. Oh boy. Meanwhile, down south, Kimbu is going with his own scouts forward, trying to get some extra damage done. Struggling to find any good damage. Although he is going after the Castle H, if you take a look at Dziamdziak, doesn't seem like he'll be able to click up anytime soon. So this could put darvoi's Carrot in a pretty good position once again. It's just going to be a matter of surviving for now, of course. Buccaneers here. Crossman upgrades coming up for Steak. He's got 4 archer ranges, but that's a lot of damage, man. And just like that, Professor and his Muppet are able to catch back up. Take a look at the villager count. It's about the same. It's a little higher for Professor and his Muppet right now. Do we have a university on the way for Jack so that he can eventually go for ballistics? He doesn't. Meanwhile, Steak already has a university over here. For military count, though, we do have 19 crossbows for Jack versus only 7 for Steak. So there's that. Beautiful. There we are. There we go. Big engagement coming out right now. Should be going in favor of darvoi's Carrot. Now that we have like cavalry, husbandry upgrade, and even chain bar now coming out. These scouts will dominate, and they do. Well done. So this is going to give darvois a little bit of momentum to potentially go forward and start putting some pressure. Once again, with 4 archer ranges, he shouldn't take too long to get a good amount of archers back up. Meanwhile, we have only 3 over here for Jack. There's a second TC already up for Jack, though. No extra TCs coming up for anybody around darvoi's Carrot. But this could be good, because if they just focus into full military production, that could make a huge difference. And they should be able to punish. Yeah, they should be able to punish the eco approach coming out from Professor and his Muppet instead. And we're gonna see already 2 villages going down around the tower, around the farms over here. Even more villages going down by the minute for sure. Even the spearmen going down. The scouts over here cannot do much of anything. And Kimbu still has a respectable amount of light cavalry over here. Now, HP pool is not the best for these. But they could potentially even just stick around the TC and keep on taking villages down for sure. We'll see if he can actually break in and come in. Try to put pressure up, but he struggled with unit control. So, in the end, we'll see Dziamdziak securing these villagers. Anyway, in about 10 seconds, we're gonna see also Dziamdziak, hitting the Castle H, which means, once again, access to light cavalry for him or potentially knights. Meanwhile, Kimbu, he's been going for knights, but he's not sent those forward just yet. He's only had light cavalry over here to work with, and he's been using knights to provide a meat shield for Steak's crossbows to work out of instead. So we are getting close to 32 minutes into the game. It's looking great. Here we are. Beautiful. Yeah, there we go. There we go. The right hand side then. Yeah. Still good defense over here for Dziamdziak. It's amazing that they've been able to survive for this long. Would darvoi's Scarab lead to the Castle Age already? It's pretty interesting to see. And it is looking kind of neck and neck right now. About the same worker count, a little bit higher for darvoi's Scarab despite being 1 TC lower. Let's take a look at the engagement over here though. Significantly higher HP pool for darvoi's Scarab. Can they take this one? They certainly will try. They've been taking, you know, archers down by the minute. Beautiful. There we are. 30C's coming out for Jack. This is going to come up for sure, but oh man, if Kimbu just kept on going forward, he would have realized about this. Probably would have been able to get some villagers down. Nice counter push over here from Steak as well. The military count starting to get a little bit too one-sided for darvoi's Scarab. It's 65 versus 48. They have about 40% or so military lead. Yeah, and this is a really good position. I mean, check this out. We have knights and we have light cavalry. Raiding on the right-hand side around the tower, pushing the villagers over to the TC. Now, Dziamdziak will either have to garrison or lose villagers, and he cannot garrison everything, of course, so he's going to end up losing a lot. And take a look at his villager count. He's come down to 18 villagers, so darvoi's Scarab is getting an incredible lead right now. In terms of population, they have a lot more units to work with. In terms of military and worker count, they are ahead on both. By quite a bit as well. Jack's the only player in a decent position right now for Professor And His Muppet. He's got the highest villager count in the game currently, but it's not by a huge margin, so the Rascar is looking good, and as long as they keep together, of course, you should be able to get a much better trade over here. And here it comes. Here come the knights. Here come the crossbows. How Professor And His Muppet score is so close to darvoi's Scarab right now is honestly a mystery, and I imagine it's probably just some scouting information. But yeah, honestly, this game should be over already. And most likely is. There we go, with the TC going down, of course. Dziamdziak's about to get, well, kind of defeated. He's got only 11 villagers left over here. With nowhere to go. These will go down. And yeah. I read that Coyote, but I couldn't answer because of the game. But yeah, it makes me very sad to see one of the teams go, but at the same time it's going to also alleviate some of the pressure on some of the other teams, so that's true. There we are. That's going to be GG. So it's finally coming up, and darvoi's Scarab, they will get game number 2 to equalize the set. We'll take a look at the achievements real quick before jumping into game number 3. But yeah, very close to 3-2 KD ratio for Kimbu. Actually, we're going to see for economy also a stronger economy for darvoi's Scarab by quite a bit as well, collecting more than 50% of resources in this game. And then for society, we're going to see also a higher society count over here as well. So, yeah, let's go back. There we are. Who takes game number 3 then? Welcome guys, everyone, to the next one. We're gonna have Fish Beach for the 3rd game. This is coming in as the map contest winner for the Asian region. And we're just going to go 2x. We're not going to go full steam, of course. And as usual, we're going to be using green for Jack over here. So we have warm colors on the right hand side and then cold colors on the left hand side. So yeah, Nikov apparently said that Argentina A is going to have to withdraw from the tournament. And I imagine some personal issues, right? That's usually been the case, or time constraints, that kind of stuff. It makes me sad because Argentina A was one of the higher seeded teams, right? They were actually invited directly to the main stage. They didn't even have to play qualifiers, and seeing them go is sad. But then at the same time, it's going to open up a spot for one more team to make it into the playoffs. So potentially, right? Assuming that they had a good run. But yeah, that does make this match much more important, as well Coyotl was saying in chat as well. Because for this group, we are going to have only 5 teams left as opposed to 6, and 3 out of these will be moving on. FUH is coming up already for Kimbu, is coming up for Dziamdziak. Now, we didn't really talk about civilizations, but we do have Magyars over here for Kimbu, which we already talked about. Militia's coming over from Jack as well, unable to do too much damage. But yeah, then for his teammate, we have Japanese. Now, we have Japanese for 2 players in this match. It's going to be the same bonuses for both, with 5, 10, 15, and 20% faster working fishing ships with twice the HP and plus 2 pierce armor. They also get a 50% discount on drop-off buildings, as well as 33% faster attacking infantry and starting in the fuel age. Besides that, for the team bonus, Japanese will get 50% extra line of sight on galley line ships. And taking a look at Jack, playing with Japanese is going to have the same bonuses. Dziamdziak playing with Hindustanis will get cheaper villages, increasingly so depending on the age, as well as 1+1+1 armor on gunpowder units, 25% faster attacking cavalry camel rider units, and then for the team bonus, they do get 2 bonus damage from light cavalry and the camel riders against buildings, so that's going to be it for civs. Okay, I think we can just go back to 1x as we are starting to get some action over here already. Beautiful. POH is already here for Jack. Oh, villager goes down over here though. From Kimbu to Dziamdziak's scouts. And he did have scouts himself, they were just kind of out of position. Yeah, good defense over here though. Kimbu does end up chunking a lot of HP off those units. Although that's another villager going down, and now this is open as well from Kimbu. Oh boy. Alright. Can he defend over here? Well, he'll certainly try. We have a higher HP pool in terms of scouts alone over here for Dziamdziak, interestingly enough, but might not make too much of a difference in the end. There we go. A lot of extra scouts coming over from Dziamdziak. Take a look at Kimbu. He's got some scouts coming out, right? He's got some production, but he's not here just yet with the extra scouts. So this is starting to look a little bit better for Professor and his Muppet. We have archers coming over as well now from Jack. So it's going to be 2 players versus Kimbu. And man, this is disaster already. That's a bunch of villagers going down from Kimbu. Taking a look at Eco KD over here, should be significantly one-sided for Dziamdziak, and it is. And as a matter of fact, it's not only Dziamdziak, but also Jack's gotten some villagers down. So overall, Eco KD is gonna be 7-0 in favor of Professor And His Muppet. Make that 8-0 with all the villagers going down for King Boo alone. Stick's just been playing for economy himself. He's got enough resources to go up to the castle edge, and he's trying to rush a archer range so that he's got the buildings to go up. This has been going for some water control on the outer water, which contains a lot of fish, of course. It can be very important. Not only a lot of fish, but also a lot of extra wood and a lot of extra gold. This is a very interesting map, and we didn't really talk about it too much because of jumping into the game a little bit later. But we do have shorefish in the center. We do have gold as well. And then for the rest of the resources... Oh, wait a moment though. The scouts actually managed to come in from Dziamdziak over here. So Steak's potentially exposed now as well a little bit. Could see more villagers go down, maybe. Keep an eye on this, but yeah. Besides that, the rest of the resources are going to be outside, right? With extra fish, extra wood. And the wood that we have along the center area, right? The center ring, so to say, or the mainland is going to be pretty small. It's actually 50 wood per tree because we are talking about reeds over here, which means that this could potentially run out a little bit earlier compared to standard wood lines, and they are going to have to inevitably make a switch over to the outer wood. So getting water control over here is very important, especially for the later stages of the game, as opposed to just at the very beginning where you're gonna be getting extra resources, right, from fish. So, yeah, Professor And His Muppet, they are looking good, while Steak will be the first player to get to the castle edge. You take a look at this military count, and he's got nothing on land to work with. He's got only 1 galley left, so he wasn't even able to hold on to his water presence too much, right? Like, Jack's got fire galleys over here. He's going to be on his way to the castle edge very soon, so that's going to be fire ships for him. And the one player from darvoi's carrot to get to the castle age will not really be able to take advantage of it too much. He's got 1 archer! 1 archer from 1 archer range. He's going for crossman upgrade right now. Not good. Not good. There we go. Very soon, Dziamdziak and Jack will get to the castle edge themselves. We're gonna see, of course, camels and crossbows come up. And the villager goes down over there for King Boo, as if he hadn't taken enough losses already. There we are. Castle edge is here for Dziamdziak. Beautiful. Now the villager goes down over there. King Boo as well. Yeah, not much for him to do now, is there? He's got scouts over here, but we already have a defensive spearman for Jack's forward archers. Plus the crossman upgrade and blocking arrow upgrades are coming up now for the green player, who's sending yet more. Yeah, archers forward should be able to take care of these scouts on his own, to be honest. We have cavalry archers actually come out for sake, but it's not going to be enough, guys. The GG's called over here. Professor And His Muppet does end up taking game number 3 to get a lead in the set. Now, there is still a possibility for darvoi's carrot to come out on top over here. They need to win games 4 and 5, of course. But Professor And His Muppet, they are looking very strong. The games have been, for the most part, pretty short. Let's go and take a look at the achievements real quick. Taking a look at military, we're going to see about 2-to-1 KD ratio for Jack, very close to 3-to-2 KD ratio for Dziamdziak. And then for economy, we see a much stronger economy for Professor And His Muppet, while for society, we're going to see also a nice society lead as well, which is pretty good, of course. So, anyway, Let's see if we can jump into the next one already. Fingers crossed we are not going to fall behind by too much. We'll just do 2x until we catch up. So we are completely live going into game number 5, right? We have shorelands. We have not seen this map actually utilized very often. And I think this is actually probably the first time that we see this one, right? Well, at the very least. Yeah, from the sets that I have cast so far. So it's still pretty good. Here we go. For the civilizations then for this one, let's switch Jack over to the green color. We're gonna see Kimbu playing with Lithuanians, we're gonna see Steak playing with Koreans. Now, we haven't talked about Koreans for this one. And we haven't talked about Lithuanians for this one either. Now, Lithuania is going to be utilized actually by both teams. With Jack and Kimbu utilizing these, both will be getting 150 extra food upon starting the game, which is going to make it a little bit easier for you to go for water, interestingly enough. On top of that, we also see for Lithuanians 10% faster movement, skirm and spear lane units, as well as 1 extra attack on knights and light chair units per each relic garrison up to 4 relics, while for the team ones they get 20% faster working monasteries as well. Meanwhile, for Steak playing with Koreans, it's going to get extra line of sight on villagers. Check the dancing over here though. And okay, let's go back to 1x. Okay, never mind. Scouts do not threaten each other anymore, so let's keep on going 2x so that we can catch up. One time the qualifiers and one time earlier today, which you haven't cast yet. Yeah. So this is the third time actually that we see this, and then the second time that we see it during the main stage, of course, but we'll take a look at the other series later. Regardless though, we talked about Lithuanians already, Koreans extra line of sight, and villagers faster working stone miners can be pretty strong because of the free tower upgrades as well. We'll also see for Koreans free archer armor upgrades, as well as a 20% wood discount on military units except for siege weapons. Now let's take a look at this. Jack's coming in already with some scouts. He's playing Lithuanians over here as established. He's gonna be able to get a village down for sure. Yes sir, loses 1 scout, still gonna be worth it. If he could get 4 villagers over here while losing 4 scouts would still be most likely worth it for him, so it's not too bad. And then there is a counter push coming up north as well from Kimbu with his own scouts. Gets 1 villager down. Overlook KD is gonna be about 2-1 in favor of darvoi's carrot. Beautiful. Bunch of extra scouts coming over from Jack. He cannot come in anymore though. 6 able to get the walls up over there. These scouts do not really have enough HP to get too much extra damage done over here. Might be able to get 1 extra villager though. We'll see. Nice. My lord, he is very close from getting 2 additional villages with these scouts, which is just insane. Meanwhile, up north, counter push coming up once again for Kimbu. They just keep on going back and forth. Might be able to get another village over here. It was kind of close. TC was right there though, so he couldn't get it. Yeah, but so far, you know what? Dziamdziak's actually been losing a lot more villagers than Steak. So right now, Eco KD is overall significantly higher for darvoi's carrot. Once again, the only way for them to come back over here and to take this the match is going to be by winning against Professor And His Muppet games number 4 and 5. Right now, they're looking strong. They have more workers. They have a comparable amount of military. They're going to have 1 player going out to the castle age at about the same time as Jack, just a little bit behind probably, but yeah, with all these scouts coming over from Kimbu, if he can do a little bit of extra damage, that's already going to solidify their lead a little bit more. Well, of course, at this point, Steak and Dziamdziak will be kind of stuck in the fuel H. And yeah, it's a very interesting position. Of course, on these maps where you have to balance your Navy units versus your land units, it's very, very hard to hold on to a lead when it's not much larger than this. So there is still definitely a possibility for Professor and his Muppet to come back over here. What to expect? Once we get to the Castle H, Kimbu will get access to knights, and he's already starting to go for scale bar than armor, so we know exactly what to expect. Jack playing with Lithuanians is going to have the exact same units, right, available, so he should be going for, let's take a look, extra stables. He's got only one though, but he's under a lot of pressure over here, so probably wouldn't be able to afford more than one stable production anyway. You take a look at Kimbu, and Kimbu's just been completely unscratched. This makes a big difference with 2 stables over here, already scale bar than armor being here, also for Kimbu, and very soon access to knights and chain bar than armor. He will have a stronger economy to work with and potentially significantly outproduce Jack for knights, right? Jack's right now the lowest score player in the game by quite a bit even. Hey Genoese Crosso man, how's it going? Used to be quite a common tournament map in 2015. That's a very specific year. Is that like, it used to be a pretty common tournament map back in the day, or like 2015 for some reason? Let me know. I'm kind of curious right now. I'll make a joke about age, but that'll probably backfire really quickly. You know, I started watching competitive Age of Empires 2 in 2015, actually. Like exactly 2015. I was there for Viper's first comeback stream where he finally decided to stick to streaming. Yeah, man, how time flies. You know, to think that in about 3 years it's going to be 1 decade already. Gee. Got to go? Okay, guys. All right. Yeah. Feel free to drop the report. Scout still around from Kimbu. Scout still around from Jack. Steak's not taking any extra damage anymore. He's going out to the Castle H significantly faster compared to Dziamdziak as well, so... yeah, this could be pretty good for darvoi. Once he gets to the Castle H, he's playing with Koreans. He could bring archers into the mix. He's been collecting a lot of stone though, so we're gonna see a castle drop and then war wagons, which is going to be much stronger than standard archers even, so that could be pretty nice for him. And because he's also been the one going for Navy the most on his team, getting to the castle significantly faster compared to Dziamdziak could make a big difference, as he's gonna get War Galley and Balkan Arrows significantly sooner and could potentially turn around and take the engagement over here. If Dziamdziak does not pay attention, he could potentially get cleaned up. So what I'm still wondering is, where are the knights from Kimbu? He's been producing these. He's got 2 stables, but he's been unable to get too much damage done just yet. Hey, King Arthur! Hi, welcome back to you. There we are, up north. Yeah, pretty similar too. There you are. Good pressure. Meanwhile, down south though, Jack actually did manage to break through. He's coming in with knights right now as well. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 villages going down so far. That could be even more villages for sure. By the minute. And I'm still waiting. He's got the War Galley upgrade over here. But all the damage he's been taking is pretty bad. Left-hand side, we're gonna see the castle drop. Oh boy! That's a bunch of knights over here and the monk from Jack, but that's a lot of war galleys to provide protection over here. This is why water control can be so important over here as well. It's going to be just so relevant around the map. This will allow him to get the castle up. Without it, probably would have been a lot of extra losses over there. So yeah, I'm still waiting for King Boo to get some good rates going, similar to what we saw Jack do against Steak earlier. And he's been struggling, but now that we have the castle already up for Steak, and we're gonna see war wagons coming up to complement the knights, that's going to be a very hard to stop army composition from darvoi's Carrot. Second TC on the way now for Dziamdziak. Meanwhile, we have 3 TCs for King Boo, with the third one coming up. 3 TCs over here for Jack. Only 1 TC for Steak, but if they just commit to full military production, they might actually be able to get ahead. Let's check. How many knights do we have over here? We have about 9 knights for the green player. We have 70 knights for King Boo. And how many monks is that? 5 monks. If we do get all 5 conversions, that's going to bring him down. Yeah, to about 12. And that's going to bring this guy up to about 14, I think. So the defensive advantage over here is extremely strong for Jack currently. He's been able to catch up like this while he was significantly lower in score earlier. Now he's caught up to Steak, for instance. King Boo's still a little bit higher, and that's going to be, of course, boosting his score quite a bit more as well, with a bunch of villages going down from Jack. King Boo gets a few extra eco kills. You're still waiting to get a good amount of war galleys, or sorry, war wagons by the looks of it. Yeah, there's a second TC coming forward for Steak, actually. Right north of the castle. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to see. Dziamdziak keeps on committing very heavily onto water. Steak doesn't seem to be interested in this too much. So let me get this right. Nikov and Capuch dropped out of the tournament. That seems to be the case, yes. It's very recent. But yeah, that's what we were told, that they were not going to be able to keep on playing or to finish their sets on time. So that does make this set specifically particularly important, of course. Beautiful. That's a lot of villages going down, man. Dziamdziak and Jack, they're falling behind in eco count quite a bit. And the score is switching back and forth. He cannot garrison all the villages over here. He's actually not even trying to. And that's going to be a bunch of extra villages going down. This is really good damage from King Boo, you know? Even if Jack over here ends up taking all these knights down, damage has been done already. Meanwhile, down south, as Jack does not really have too much in terms of defenses because of bringing all the knights forward, he'll be completely exposed over here to the push from darvoi's Carrot. Now we see some conversion potential over here, though. That's a lot of monks for Jack, mind you. King Boo still going for knights only. Is he going to try and engage? We'll see. Could potentially be up to 9 conversions. We have 13 knights over here, so even getting 7 conversions is going to be enough for him to get the lead. There we go. It's a beautiful castle as well. It's gonna be putting so much more pressure over here. And while darvoi's Carrot's military count is not quite as high as Professor and His Muppet, you gotta keep in mind that 30 of these units for Professor and His Muppet are actually on water, right? And while we have no water presence whatsoever for darvoi's anymore, that would usually be pretty bad. But in this situation, it's actually allowing them to keep on putting so much pressure on land. Might be able to end up just taking Jack very soon. Meanwhile, Jack on the right hand side is trying to come in. Oh, he's coming in though! The villagers from Kimbu actually overmined the gold. So now these knights are coming over. That is something you don't see every day. Overmining, allowing the units coming in. Takes significantly longer than a tree going down, of course, than over chopping, but this can be deadly. We do have 3 fortresses actually over here for Kimbu to defend himself with, so at the very least it's not going to be completely exposed. You can only garrison up to 60 villages, of course. But with the defender's advantage, plus extra knights coming out over here, should be able to hold on against the knights. Still very good disruption over here from Jack, but I don't think that's going to be enough for him to prevent this damage from happening on the left-hand side. We see the TC actually go down already. For Jack. Beautiful. If Professor and His Muppet wins this match, they are very likely in the playoffs, top 12, which I think nobody would have expected at the time of the qualifiers. Right. In darvoi's Carrot, I think they have played 2 sets so far, right? They played versus up to Imp, and they played versus Perfect Couple, and they lost both. Have they played the 3rd round, or are they? No, they still need to play versus Sleepies, right? The 3rd one, if I'm not mistaken. No. I'm pretty sure we are missing one over here for darvoi's Carrot. If they can win this set, they can still qualify. Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. After the series and the next series, of course, we'll be taking a look at the standings currently and try to see where the teams are currently. But yeah, you know what? darvoi's Carrot position over here is pretty good. Kimbu's going out to the Imperial significantly faster compared to anybody else. Not quite. Actually, Jack's beating him to the punch a little bit. Although there is another castle coming up over here for Steak. If he can get this castle out, that's going to increase pressure quite a bit. Beat Professor and His Muppet and Sleepies, and they are 2-2. That should be good enough for top 3. I think so. But yeah, Sleepies is going to be pretty tough. Although I'm not really sure if it's going to be much tougher compared to Professor and His Muppet. Anyway, with the Imperial H here, Jack's already going to start pumping some traps. And Kimbu and Steak, they are struggling to take advantage of their lead. Yeah, Cavalier and Play Bard and Armor coming up. Professor and His Muppet will have 3 wins after this. Sleepers could still get 3 wins, but they would have to beat Perfect Couple or up to Imp. So what, Coyote, I'm curious. Argentina A dropping off the tournament means that the series that they played earlier would end up as 0-5, would be changed up to 0-5, would be overridden the previous result. I'm asking for games because like they are not going to have to play against the next teams, but they already played versus some of the older teams, or some of the, you know, the first sets. And I imagine it'd be awkward if they retain the previous scores, right? Anyway, that's a lot of units coming up right now. They're finally getting a very, very nice position over here. Even a diving under both castles over here is going to be enough for them to secure this one. The Cavalier play Bard and Armor, War Wagons over here, very tanky, resilient units, making it impossible for Jack to keep on holding on. I would say we counted as 0-5 for the previous ones, for the ones that they already played. I would agree with that, because that would be kind of awkward, right? If it was 0-5 for only the teams, the teams will be getting 5 free wins. The ones that did not play versus them, and then the ones that actually got to play would get a lower score. Wanna discount the game? I guess that's an alternative. We need to provide a score though, I think, so nil 5 for all other teams is going to be technically the same as just removing the team, right? But yeah, we do provide a score, I guess. Like void all results for Argentina A. Yeah, that'd be basically the same because adding 5 points to every team, it's not going to change, right? The final result anyway. I guess it depends on how you want to represent it in the table. I think either one works fine. Let's go and take a look at the achievements. What happened? One of the teams cannot keep on going and they are not gonna be able to finish. So they are forfeiting. For military, we have Kimbu getting a very nice KD ratio over here. In the end, it's going to be about 3-2. Steak, on the other hand, did manage to get a better than 1-1 KD ratio, so that's still pretty good, right? It's going to be close to 9-8 over here. For economy, we do have a stronger economy for darvoi Carrot in the end. Even if they did not have any water control towards the end of the game, they did manage to do so much damage on land and get away with a stronger worker count on land that it was already enough for them to get a nice lead. And worker count over here, you can see, was significantly one-sided for darvoi Carrot. So well played. They equalized the set, guys. And now we have the tiebreaker. Who will come out on top? We were behind jumping into this game already, so I wouldn't be surprised if they are already in game number 5. And welcome everyone then to the final game of the series. Once again, there are no restarts available anymore. And once again, we do have Kimbu up north on the left-hand side playing with Hans. We're going to have Steak to the very north playing with Mayans. Meanwhile, to the south of the map, we see Dziamdziak playing with Khmer. To the southeast, we see Jack playing with Tatters. For Kimbu, playing with Hans over here is going to have the same bonuses we already discussed for Hans in one of the earlier games. We'll see for Steak Mayans over here, which I'm not really sure we actually talked about in this set just yet, but they will get longer lasting resources. We're going to get on top of that for Mayans 1 extra villager upon starting the game, but 50 less food because of it. Then they also get cheaper archers, increasing the sell depending on the age, 10, 20, and 30%. And then for the team bonus, we're going to get also cheaper walls. Meanwhile, for Jack playing with Taurus, I think we saw Taurus before, but I don't remember if it was this set or the previous one. I think it might have been the previous one. For, yeah, I think it might have been the previous one. I think it was in the Americas. So, yeah, for this one, we're going to see Jack with Taurus, free thumb ring, free Parthian tactics, right? Then on top of that, he's going to have 25% higher attack against enemy units when fighting from a higher elevation. And they will also get 50% extra food on herdables and 2 additional sheep underneath each new ability you see starting in the castle age onwards. For the team bonus, we'll also find for Tatters 2 extra line of sight on cavalry archer units. And then for Dziamdziak playing with Khmer, he's going to have the same bonuses we already discussed. Actually, I think it was for Kimbu in one of the previous games, but yeah. In one of the previous games of the set, but I think so. So about 466 viewers are watching this match on 2 streams. So I am casting this one, and I imagine Dziamdziak is the other person who's streaming this set, right? Because I don't think anybody else is actually casting it. Wait, wasn't TOS going to cast this set? Is he casting this? Is that not accounting for my stream or what's going on? Dziamdziak streaming, I am streaming. TOS said that he was going to stream. I'm not really sure if he actually is. If he is, then I'm confused. Well, anyway, what to expect over here is going to be pretty standard. You're going to see scouts come out for Dziamdziak. He's got a fantastic civilization to protect himself against potential raids as well, so he can go and raid with some level of peace of mind. Well, we're going to see archers, of course, come out for Jack as well. Up north, it's going to be kind of the same situation. On the left-hand side, Kimbu with Hans going for scouts. He's going to be joined by Steak going for Mayans. Because of the huge distance separating all the players over here, it's going to be very, very hard to join the armies for archers and scouts, right? And stay together. Scouts will be extremely useful because of their high mobility, and archers will be, of course, very strong once they are able to eventually catch up with the scouts. But given the way that usually 2v2 games go, with sometimes you're going to be attacking, sometimes you're going to be defending, sometimes you're going to be targeting one player, you're just going to get striked on the back of your base by surprise, right? It's the archers are going to certainly struggle in this one. For which I do like the choice of Jack to go for Tatters, because with cavalry archers, he would be getting mobility on top of ranged units, so he would be able to support knights from, you know, from Chimera, potentially even elephants, although I think knights is much more likely to be used over here for Chimera. With cavalry archers, which are going to match the knights for mobility. Meanwhile, for Steak the Civilization, his scout right now will provide him with access to plume archers, so most likely we are going to see stone collection for him very soon, so that he can start working towards getting the resources to go for plume archers, right? Which I think will be extremely instrumental over here. We do have the option for him to go for Eagle Warriors eventually if he wanted to, but against cavalry archers and knights probably wouldn't really be the best. Actually, at least first stream this match? Okay. So whatever algorithm the Spectator Dashboard website is utilizing does not seem to be taking into account some of the streams. And just assuming that we are talking about Twitch, right? I think the command was meant to also include like YouTube streams and I think even Facebook streams, but I think they might just be parsing the stream titles for a match with the tournament name or something. That's my guess though, anyway. No, that shouldn't be the case. No, that shouldn't be the case. I think probably the Spectator Dashboard website still does not have an entry for some of the other streamers. I think that's probably it. I think it's only calculated from the people that Happy Leaves has validated. Okay, it says 3 streams right now. I like the Cavalry Archer more. Guessing Sticks wants to go Plume. Yeah, I would imagine. He's got the Archer range coming up right now. Obviously, anything he goes for Archers in the field age is going to eventually work pretty well for Plume Archers in the Castle Age onwards. And kind of ditto for Jack as well. Anything he goes for Archers is going to transition pretty nicely into Cavalry Archers. And then on top of that, he's going to need Bloodlines and whatnot. But he's got 2 Archer ranges coming up right now, which I do like. It's going to allow him to produce more units faster. And because they are so far away, he should have enough time to get a barracks up. A blacksmith up. And go for fletching by the time he actually wants to go out and strike. He doesn't need to do double Archer ranges from the get-go. He can just go for 1 as well. And the blacksmith, because they are so far away, that wouldn't be the worst. Because he's not going to get punished by extra numbers anytime soon, right? But yeah, both players do end up going for double Archer ranges. And it's going to be probably exactly what we expect. Who are covering this? Well, Coyotl? I'm covering it. T-West is covering it. Dziamdziak's covering it. I imagine those would be the 3 streams that Spectator Dashboard is taken into account. Not 100% sure. Yeah, those are the ones that Spectator Dashboard is taking into account right now. So the 4th one, I'm not really sure. Ah, Blackadder. Blackadder still has not gotten verified over there. I see. Nice pick though. Beautiful. Village goes down right there. Oh, and it's open. He was going for the tower, but will he end up losing a few extra villages over here? Yes, he will. So it's a strong start over here for Kimbu already. Taking a bunch of villagers down already for Jack. The archers coming over as well. They'll finally have stronger push, of course. While the scouts from Kimbu will provide some defense over here against Dziamdziak's own scouts. Yeah, and so far it doesn't seem like Steak has taken anywhere near as much damage. Ideally, he's gonna get the quick walls up now, and he will try to go for it, yes. Beautiful. There we are. Yeah, good defense. Now the tower is coming up. That should be enough for him to secure his position. Meanwhile, down south, Steak might not be able to get too much damage down over here. Might not be able to get villagers down, but he's preventing Dziamdziak from collecting resources. Let's check. There we go. These archers are finally going down. Well, it's actually getting a pretty decent trade even against the scouts here. Can he get a villager maybe? Yeah, at this point he would probably just want to try and trade against, you know, for villagers, but he couldn't get too much done over there. In any case, Dziamdziak's been collecting some resources, trying to save enough to go up to the Castle Age. And Steak's not really been going for stone just yet, which is kind of baffling because without plumed archers, his civilization is simply not going to have the mobility he needs to support King Boo and the push. Going down south once again. How many villages do we have over here? It's got 6, so we're probably going to see one going down to archers, I imagine. You can only get some 5 inside the house. And there's another stable coming up for Dziamdziak. It's going to be the second one. We take a look at King Boo, and he's on one stable only. There we go. This should be pretty one-sided. And it is! So Dziamdziak's just going to bail from here. Full stop. This makes a big difference. darvoi's carrot now prevents Dziamdziak from collecting wood over there. And Dziamdziak's gonna be only confined to these smaller wood lines around his TC. While everybody else is still gonna be able to keep on collecting wood from the center, which is much better, of course. Let's take a look to see if Steak's going to realize about this on time. Yes, he will. Good defense. He's got some archers coming out over here. Just gotta be careful with the defense advantage over here. Going for some skirmishers might be good. He's gonna try to bait these units into the engagement so that he buys the villagers some time to get them back on the TC. And now if he went for a few skirmishes, he should be able to take care of this. Although he's gonna keep on just going for archers. So down south instead though, we do see Steak running into the TC a little bit. He's not paying attention over here because he defended himself. Meanwhile, King Boo will end up getting pushed away by Dziamdziak scouts. Yeah, that's one village going down. Probably gonna see another village going down over here for Steak for sure. We're gonna see Professor And His Muppet get ahead. And worker count? Not just yet. Not just yet. Steak realized about this before he lost all the archers. He's able to get still some damage done over here. Yeah, and King Boo's scouts over here are a little bit smaller numbers compared to Dziamdziak, so this is rough. King Boo's got the scouts in the middle of nowhere, so these scouts will get a good run going against those archers, and that's going to be really rough for Steak. Losing all the archers over here means he cannot support King Boo anymore. And what does King do though? What does he do? He gets the hell out of there. And good luck, mate. Was nice meeting you. Hallelujah. Those crossbows or archers go down before we get the chance to see them turn into crossbows. Meanwhile, over here up north, he did end up having to make a switch. He did end up having to make a switch to skirmishers to defend himself. But anyway, Castle Age is on the way now for Jack and for King Boo. This is really interesting because it's going to provide each team access to a different type of unit. With Dziamdziak being so far behind the resources, he's gonna go up to the Castle Age, which means he's gonna be sticking only to scouts, right? Scout cavalry, and that's going to be about it. We take a look at the upgrades, and he has not gone for scale bard and armor. He does not have forging, he only has bloodlines. Meanwhile, bloodlines just finished researching right now for King Boo, but he does have scale bard and armor. Once he gets to the Castle Age, he's gonna get access to knights. Once Jack gets to the Castle Age, he'll get cavalry archers. Now, cavalry archers on paper will counter knights as long as you get past a certain threshold. I would say 15 cavalry archers, the bare minimum you want to have before you go out into the open and are able to take engagements against knights. And it doesn't really take too long, especially with 3 archer ranges. It's going to be just a couple minutes. So on paper, I do like Jack getting to the Castle Age better than Kimbu getting to the Castle Age a little bit. But we'll see, of course. With good unit control, there is always going to be the possibility of Kimbu finding an opening inside Dziamdziak space, or maybe Jack space, so that he can get some villages before Jack's able to get to a good amount of cavalry archers. But we'll see. Right now, Professor and his Muppet looking pretty good. Very soon, Steak and Dziamdziak will both be on their way to the Castle Age as well. Still no stone miners though for Steak at all. It tells me we're not going to have mobility for darvoi's carrot. Let's check. Very similar HP pool over here, looking a little bit better for Professor and his Muppet. While Kimbu is just bringing the villages back confidently. Jack's getting crossbows right now, and he will end up getting pushed away again. Yeah. Kimbu was just going the opposite direction where the units were coming from. There was nothing particular over there, just probably Steak space, I guess, but it was so far away. I was just trying to survive. Regardless, though, we have 2 stables for Kimbu. We have 3 archer ranges for Jack, but he's not making the switch to cavalry archers. He's just sticking to crossbows. Makes me wonder. Is he even going to consider making a switch to cavalry archers? Because if he's just going to be sticking to archers, he kind of loses on the mobility aspect of his potential army, and that could be really good for Kimbu with the only player with mobile Castle Age units, right? We'll see. There we go. Beautiful. Dziamdziak's getting some good damage down over here, plus crossbows coming over. Professor and his Muppet are looking pretty strong. Do you have the crossbow upgrade? Blocking arrow coming out for Steak though. All the action taking place at the back of Steak's base. All these knights coming over. Actually, Kimbu's got a higher HP pool compared to both, you know, Professor and his Muppets players. But there we go. These crosses should take care of those scouts. We're gonna see these knights coming over to clean these units up. They do need to stay together though. But it's kind of tricky because if these crosses just come over to clean these up, they leave the villages exposed. Dziamdziak could have gone after the villages, but he's not going to go after them. And in the end, it seems like darvoi's carrot's coming back. With these crosses going down from Jack, darvoi's carrot not only managed to hold on in worker count, but now they are ahead in military. And how incredible is this? So scouts coming over from Dziamdziak right now, but Kimbu with the defender's advantage and stronger units should be able to hold on. It's got knights, should be able to take care of these units just fine. Might end up losing a villager or 2, but it's not the end of the world, and certainly is not game over just yet. Is this going to be disruptive? Yes. Darvo is still alive and kicking. With the third TC over here for the team, right? The second TC from Kimbu. It's not too bad, and downside, we only now see Dziamdziak going for the 3rd TC, which means that darvoi's carrot could potentially try and catch up a little bit in villager count at the very least. Well, they still have eco momentum though. From the extra TC already up and working, right? We only see the TC come up right now for Dziamdziak. There we go. Beautiful. Good defense over here for Steak. Should be able to clean this up. Does not have ballistics. Meanwhile, Jack does have ballistics. Do we have a university even on the way for Steak? Not yet. So that's a little bit of a struggle for the time being. There we go. A bunch of knights over here. From Kimbu looking a little bit stronger compared to Dziamdziak's units. In terms of HP pool, he's a little bit higher. In terms of numbers, he's a little bit higher. Do you have 3 stables for Dziamdziak to produce from though? Plus the defender's advantage over here might actually be able to come back. We have only 2 stables for Kimbu, so he's extremely cautious. He's going to bail. He might have realized the crosses might have been on the way, right? And he's going to bail. Does end up taking a few losses to the crosses over here. Once again with ballistics, Jack's able to chunk a lot of HP of these units, but now King Boo's going back towards his safety once again. Yeah, it's gotta be careful. We have a very comparable amount of HP over here. HP potential though. Think? Not actually. Not actually, no. Looking better for Professor and His Muppet currently. Well, Kimbu could try and take the engagement underneath the TC. He's got Iron Casting about to finish researching. Meanwhile, Dziamdziak's got it only now coming up. That's a lot of crosses over here from Steak though. Yeah, if he had all the crosses over here on the left hand side instead, they definitely would have been able to take an engagement. One thing's sure. Darvoi's gotta take the engagement as soon as possible, get momentum, go forward and push back if they want to win game number 5, because Professor and His Muppet slowly but surely have been getting leads both for economy and for military right now as well, with extra stables for Dziamdziak to work with compared to King Boo, who's still sticking to only 2 stables. No wonder that knife potential, production potential is going to be so much higher for Dziamdziak. There we go, they're just going to go for it. I don't know about this, man. We do have more knights left for King Boo over here, plus the crosses are coming over as well for Steak, but I think King Boo is going to get cleaned up, won't he? That's kind of hard to say. He does have some knights over here to run in the crossbows, so he split his army into 2 groups, but it seems like in the end, Dziamdziak's going to come out on top, and with some extra units left over here as well. If we remove villagers from the equation, HP pool is looking very one-sided for Professor and His Muppet. And you take a look at the population, and that engagement alone has given Professor and His Muppet such a huge lead. Plus quadruple stable knight production over here from Dziamdziak as well. He's been able to scale his military production so much better compared to King Boo. Should be able to hold on to their lead. This could be pretty rough. There we go. Beautiful. It seems like from this point onwards should be basically paperwork for Professor and His Muppet. Finally a switch to cavalry archers. Now Jack's going to look unstoppable. What a great set for darvoi's Carrot, though. Taking 2 games over here for from Professor and His Muppet. That's already been pretty good. There you are. What's the meaning behind Professor and His Muppet name? That's a good question. I have no idea. I would imagine Dziamdziak's the Professor and Jack's the Muppet. But I don't know. There's like an inside joke or something about that. But there we go, guys. The GG's goal right now. But darvoi's Carrot and Professor and His Muppet does end up taking game number 5. Taking the series over here with the final score of 3-2. It was a close set. And I don't think a lot of people would have expected darvoi to... you know, to force a decider for game number 5 over here, but they did. They performed really, really well. And yeah, they're certainly punching above their weight over here and getting actually pretty decent trades. Let's go and take a look at the achievements one more time then before hopping over to the next series. Once again, after this one, we'll be casting Gamer Legion versus Ibadi. Gamer Legion A versus Ibadi. We're going to see a better than 3-2 KD ratio for Dziamdziak. We have a 4-3 KD ratio for Jack. In the end, we're going to see for economy as well, stronger economy for Professor and His Muppet by quite a bit. And Jack certainly was the one struggling quite a bit too. In terms of worker count, he was the player with the lowest amount of workers after taking so much damage from earlier. He was never really able to recover, so we'll play Professor and His Muppet. They move on with a win over here over to the next round. Meanwhile, let's go back and we'll jump into the